This is a very short video for yesterday, actually. You start with him just lunging, and this is a very typical warm-up lunge for a horse that's sort of moving along in the program. Uh, not doing much. You notice he's out at the end of the circle. He's fine. I'm not bothering with side reins or anything since this is his time to loosen up. And as you'll see in in a moment or two, it's his time to buck if he'd like. And there we go. Which is fine. This is his time to do it. I'm sort of encouraging him a little bit there to get going, and I know he'll kick out a bit and kick up his heels, and that's great. Now's the time to do it. Also, while you're watching, you'll notice that I'm never standing in the same place. I'm always walking the circle down along the length of the ring, either coming towards us or going away from us. There's a couple of reasons why I do this. First of all, if you just stand in one place and let the horse go around in a circle, you tend to dig up the ring and make a mess of it. You get what's called a lunging bump, and it's very hard to fix. It just makes a mess. Second of all, by walking like this, he has to always be paying attention to where I am and to where the lunge line is and watching to see where to go. So he's accepting direction from me this way. If you're just standing in one place, well, by the second time around, he pretty much knows what's going on, and he'll decide that he's going to start to fall in or bulge out here or there or whatever, and it's just pointless. I've heard some people say, well, you have to stand in one place and make sure he's doing a round circle, which I think might be the most brain dead thing I've ever heard in the horse world. It doesn't work that way. If you want your horse to do round circles, teach him to be responsive to the aids, to soft aids, and then get on him and ride soft round circles. It's no big deal. Um, People can't get a round circle because the horses are not well trained. That's the end of it. But you don't train circles. In fact, there is no aid for the circle. All we have aids for are go, stop, turn in, move out, and soften, and you use those to make circles by riding every stride of the circle. Here, I guess we've changed direction. The day before, he had volunteered a canter in this direction, and I went ahead and asked him to canter again today in this direction. He's saying, no, I don't want to. We'll get to that in a minute, I suppose. Oh, there he is. Saying, no, I don't want to canter. I'm fine. And I didn't make a big deal of it. I just sent him on again. I think I might have asked one more time. So he's trotting around pretty nice there. I'm pretty happy with this. And we're accomplishing what we need to. I mean, actually, the trot's looking a little bit better there, isn't it? It's looking pretty fancy. It's starting to look a little fancy. So we'll see. And he says he's done. Can we be done now? And my response is, sure, we can be done. Not a problem. Oh, no, I guess I wanted them to go one more time. Nope, looks like I gave up there. So we're getting ready to get on them. Now, even though I don't videotape this every day or put it in the videotape every day, yeah, it's a little reminder. I do rub out the muscle knots in the neck every day. It's not a very good. You can see where I'm just rubbing out his neck, and I get that every day because these guys have these chronic lumps there. Those muscles are so tight from being against the rider for so long that it can sometimes take quite a long time to break them up. Thoroughbreds are much easier to fix this problem with than any other breed. Thoroughbreds Arabs are really easy to fix this with. It doesn't take much. Some of the warm bloods and stuff, it can take years. I mean, if they're really tight. You can see he's leaning back into me there. We've done a video with him showing this at some point. I don't remember when. But I have lots of videos like this of me rubbing up the neck if you just wander around my YouTube page. where I explain it in much greater detail. Yeah, I'm just pushing him over so that you have the right camera angle. And there I go rubbing at the neck again. You see, once that muscle and that base of the neck there relaxes, everything else starts to fall into place. And they very much like it. It's a great sense of relief for them. And here we are a couple of minutes later, getting on them. Just sit there, get organized, and say, come on, soften up. Let's go. Actually, I have him a little overbent to the left there. I need more right rein, but still, that was fine. It got him going. Didn't take much effort today, did it? Now, notice this walk is kind of pokey and it's not really flowing or anything. And that's fine. You'll see it in a few more minutes, how different it got. What I'm pleased with, what I'm happy about, well, I'm happy about everything with this horse, actually, and the progress he's making. But so far, I mean, the lunging work was all good. The in-hand work was all good. Getting on him, it was very easy to get him going today, which was really maybe the easiest. And then you'll see as the ride progresses, and it's a pretty quick ride, we just got one thing after another that's really kind of happy. So here, as I come around, I'm going to lift my hands up a little bit and ask him to stop. And you'll see that the way he stops is by sticking his mouth out against the bit and bracing against the bit in my hand. And so what I did is I just sort of held it and backed him up a little bit. As soon as he softened a little, I said, okay, we can go on now. That's the problem. If you ask the horse to soften or to stop or slow down or whatever, he's not supposed to stiffen. He has to soften. Um, so we're going to work on this a little bit. And again, here I'm just asking him to turn in. But the idea that he should soften as he's stopping or slowing down will be an ongoing theme. See there again, I'm not sure whether I initiated the stop or whether he did it by just stiffening. But every time he stiffens and every time he stops, and right now that's the way he stops, is by stiffening, that's wrong. So my first reaction will be to say, no, don't stiffen, soften. There, okay, there I'm just turning in, changing direction again. There he began to stiffen, and you saw he softened right away as I raised my right hand. He says, oh yeah, I remember now. And then he was able to keep going too. So now you can watch several more times. We go through the stiffen, stop, soften, and go routine. And I don't mind doing it because I know it's going to take however many times it's going to take. But he's just sort of figuring it out, and he gets easier to soften and to send forward after each iteration of this, which we actually call the exercise reward cycle. First, I ask him correctly with an aid that requests, encourages, and allows. Then, if necessary, I'll correct him with a correction that should be correct. It should be clear, effective, and over with, and then we reward. So, what we want to say, or wanted to see, well, he sort of turned right in pretty nicely there and softened. So there, for some reason, I stopped, and I'd guess it's because he felt stiff. Then he got a little softer as we went on. Oh, I see. I wanted him to turn right, and he just kept walking through. So I stopped him and turned him in. There again, I'm guessing that it looks to me like I wanted them to turn right and stay on the circle, and he started to walk off. So the correction is, if he won't just turn right when you ask him, then just stop him, let him release and rebalance, and then turn him right. And I don't know how often you have to do this exercise it depends with each horse. Some get it sooner than others. He's pretty smart. He'll probably get it pretty soon. There you can see he's a little stiff. I lift my hands, ask him to soften and to turn in, and he does, and we go marching off. So now as we come around, I lift my hands and ask him to stop, which he did, but you notice he stopped with his nose out, his head up, the base of his neck bulging a little bit. So he stopped stiffly. And I just released, give him a moment to reset, and then ask him to turn in to the right. And you can see just turning in is enough to get him going softly again. Then we're turning into the left. And now watch this as I begin a turning square. I'm going move out, move out, move out slightly. Then we do turn in, and then move out, move out, move out, and then turn in, turn in. And now you can see we're moving in almost a shoulder in parallel to the long side. That kind of an idea, the move out. And then, well, whatever. That was actually quite good for a horse that really has only been under saddle with me for 2, 3 days now. So we're being happy about that. Here we turn in, change direction. Could have changed the bend a little bit sooner. And I start to move out a little bit with that. It's not very good. Move out, move out, move out. That's not so bad. It's a little sticky. Turn in a little bit, and now I move out along that line. Okay. Now what I'm doing is asking for a little trot to the right under saddle. Now this is the first time he's done it with me. It's the first time he's done it trying to be bending through his body and reaching over the top line and balancing the way we've taught him. So it's tentative at best. And that's okay. It looks a little, off. It looks, well, he's not off. He's just uncertain. But you can see he's bending through his body, and he's probably never bent through his body and trotted before in his life, so certainly not under a rider. But he's given it a good try there, isn't he? Now, I don't care at all that he's banging out a few steps and going back to the walk and banging out a few steps and going back to the walk, because he's just learning to do this. And it's not my job to make him trot to the right. It's my job to help him learn how to trot correctly to the right. And he did very well there. Yes, it was terrible. I'm not worried about that because if I can keep getting a little bit less terrible, pretty soon he'll be pretty good. And well, you'll see in a few minutes, less than a few minutes, going to the left now, he is pretty good. So I decided, okay, that was enough of that for the first day, trying something new, trotting to the right under saddle. So we'll go back to the left. One of the things you can't see is that I've been switching the whip left to right as we're changing bend and direction. And that was the first today. And I just did it. And he was like, yeah, fine, let's go. Didn't pay any attention to it at all. Now, if you look at this trot to the left, compared to the trot to the left under saddle a few days ago, it's like, wow, that's a big improvement. It's like getting to be a real trot. It's got lots of room to improve more, But we've gone from getting less terrible now to we're thinking about, okay, let's get a little bit better every time. Because it was pretty good. And there's lots of room for improvement in there. But I don't need to force it now. Just let things happen. And you notice how easily he's going into the left trot. And for that fact, even into the right trot. He's much more accepting of the aids. That's a good start for this horse. You can see the bend through the body. Yeah, pretty good reach over the top line. It's not great, but it's everything is there. It's all got to be improved, but all the bits and pieces are coming into focus. And then the other thing that I was noticing while watching this video is how good and supple he's getting about letting me move his shoulders left and right. If you look at how many times I just turn in to change the bend, and it's like just a matter of course. Neither here or I really need to even think about it now. It's just a skill he has. So here, I think we do it here. Nope, just walk down. And I do something else. Okay, there you go. You see how easily he just turned him right in, changed the bend, moved him right out to be bent right. He didn't even have to think about it. It's just something he's doing now. It's a skill set that he's developing. And I think if you look at even the walk to the right at the beginning of this video, um, it was a lot more stilted, and it's a lot more open now after, 20, 25 minutes of riding. So he continues to get a little bit better every day, and that's all I need. So that was fine. He went in, did a few tries, a few strides of trot to the right without any complaint or objection. Said, all right, let me stop and regroup. Or he just went back to the walk and needs to regroup, and that's fine. In a few days, he'll be trotting around like a champ. And correctly, in a way that will literally carry him or carry the rider all the way up to the FEI levels of dressage. Maybe he won't go to the Olympics, but he'll be able to do all the stuff.